Your front door may be the most vulnerable point in your entire house. We think of it as a way to let friends in, but it's actually a gateway for things you can't see. Lead dust, pesticides, and over 400,000 units of bacteria per shoe. And if you have kids crawling around the floor or you are noticing the dust and dirt coming in from outside, chances are you have a higher toxin load inside your house. In building biology, I like to refer to your front door as the gatekeeper of your home. You have the ultimate authority over what enters your sanctuary. And today I'm showing you how to turn your entryway from a cluttered catch-all into a biological filter. We're gonna dive deep into the gross science of what comes in on every shoe, why your house dust is a toxic soup, and the exact entryway setup that I use to protect my own family. Welcome back. I'm Amanda. I'm a building biology practitioner, a certified home inspector, and a healthy home expert. I am the owner and creator of Healthy House on the Block, where I empower you with information, knowledge, and scientific research that helps you create a home that not only supports your health and wellness, but actually creates a space for your biology to thrive. Today, we are going to do a deep dive into the entryway of your home. Whether you have a mudroom or a very small space for people to enter, you can make it a space that actually filters toxins out of your home before they even come in. In building biology, we view the home as your third skin. So just as your actual skin protects your organs, your home should protect your family from external stressors. And when the entryway fails to act as a filter, that burden of detoxification doesn't just disappear, it shifts. So your liver, your lungs, and your endocrine system, they all have to work overtime to process background toxins that you could have avoided. And by securing this entryway zone in your home, you're essentially giving your family's immune system a much needed break and a buffer from the exterior toxins that can come in. So let's talk about the gross science. Dr. Charles Gerba's research at the University of Arizona is really a wake-up call. Within just 2 weeks, a new pair of shoes becomes a colony for hundreds of thousands of bacteria. But the real issue is the transfer that happens inside your home. So nearly 90% of the bacteria from your shoe can be transferred onto your wood or tile floors the second you step inside. Now, if you have a crawling baby around, your floor is their playground and also kind of like their dinner table because of their hand-to-mouth habits. And we want to keep that space as sacred as possible. Another threat is pesticides. And while most of us are really careful about maybe washing our produce, we're actually tracking in more pesticides on our shoes than we'd ever find on a non-organic apple. So outside, the UV light helps break these chemicals down. But inside, the chemicals are sheltered and they persist in your carpets and floor dust for months. Honestly, even years, because they just are made that strong so that they don't break down. And then it becomes a part of the air you breathe every time that dust is kicked up inside your home. And if your driveway or maybe a parking lot nearby is sealed with coal tar, you now have a silent guest in your house. These toxins are linked to elevated cancer risks, and children under 6 are the most vulnerable because of their proximity to the floor. They actually ingest the toxins at much higher rates than we do as adults. And this isn't about fear, because we all know how horrible it would be to be ingesting coal tar, but it is about the facts and taking back control of your environment. Are you a little unsure about where you even should be starting with the healthy house? Like, what are the first steps? After 10 plus years of hands-on experience, I know what those first steps are, and I know the steps to take that won't have you spending lots of money in the beginning, but will get you excited for all of the changes and all the potential that your house has. The truth is, creating a healthy house doesn't have to be really expensive. It doesn't have to be really complicated. You just have to know the exact steps to take. Anybody can check things off a list, and that's exactly what I'm here to help you do. My free ebook is an amazing resource to help you get started on getting toxins out of your house and creating healthier habits, and also planning for the future for some of those bigger changes. So how do we stop these toxins? Well, your first line of defense is a 2-mat system. So outside, we want a heavy-duty scraper mat. These are very coarse bristles. People can rub the bottom of their shoe on them to remove some of those toxins. And then inside, we want a high quality mat, and we want to avoid the cheap synthetic rubber or PVC mats. These are going to off-gas and actually bring more toxins into your home. We want natural materials that can actually trap dirt without adding a chemical load to your indoor space. And one of the things I love the most is a shoe tray. In Minnesota, we call it a boot tray because in the winter, it's made to house our winter boots that are often wet and dirty. But it's not just for organization, it's a boundary. So when a guest walks in and sees that you have this dedicated tray, they won't even have to ask. They know the shoes stay there. So I prefer a natural rubber, or if you have to, some sort of wood with metal inserts, but you have to be very careful if you live somewhere with a lot of moisture because we don't want that wood to be constantly wet. But the one thing I love about this is it signals that this home is a sanctuary and there is a home for the outside world's grime. In essence, we have a spot for shoes and it's not walking through the house. And we often forget about backpacks and diaper bags. These items sit on the floors of libraries, of public restrooms, and buses. So if you set your diaper bag on the kitchen counter, you've just brought all of that into your food prep area. So I like to use wall-mounted hooks for bags and individual baskets for each family member if you have the space for it. I love seagrass or organic cotton because they're breathable and they're also easy to vacuum out and they don't introduce toxins to your space. And this is my secret weapon. I like to keep a small metal tray with a glass spray bottle of gentle plant-based cleaner and a stack of organic cotton dish towels. When things like the stroller come in or a dog's leash that's muddy, it takes about 30 seconds to just wipe them down. And it's not about being a germaphobe here. It's actually about the strategic source control. So all of these things that are being brought in contain toxins from the outside world that you wouldn't normally bring into your house. By wiping them down, cleaning them off, you are preventing a huge source of toxins inside your space. So because the Entryway is doing the hard work of trapping toxins and being a barrier, we have to clear it out. A standard vacuum may kind of pull up some dust, but it will blow a lot of the smallest particles and the most toxic particles right back out into the air. So what you want to look for is a sealed HEPA filter. And I recommend a quick 2-minute vacuum of the Entryway rugs every day if you can, or a few times a week. It's the single best way to keep your home's bioload low so that we don't have toxins just sitting on our rug waiting to get tracked throughout the rest of our space. Another thing is really keeping up with the clutter and rotating things in and out because clutter holds on to dust. So by keeping only the current season's shoes in the Entryway, you make it easier to clean. In the Midwest or the North, we have everything from heavy snow boots, and believe me, we all have more than one pair of boots because you have to have a different type of boot for walking, then for hiking, then for whatever your outdoor adventure is going to be in the winter. But we also have flip-flops and sandals and tennis shoes. So storing out-of-season items elsewhere means that there's fewer nooks and crannies for things like lead dust and pesticides to hide. So I know this can feel like a lot of information, but remember, you don't have to change everything today. You could start with a no shoe policy because it's free and it's effective and it's the fastest way to honor your role as the gatekeeper of your home. And as you grow in your healthy home journey, you can add things like trays or a better HEPA filter vacuum or a cleaning station like I talked about. Our homes are ever-changing spaces, and every small step that you take is a win for your family's long-term wellness. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you're able to take at least one tip from this week's video and apply it to your own Entryway. If you did find this video helpful, please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to my channel because I am here every single week with new tips and new ideas on how to create a space that actually supports your health and your wellness.